Welcome, this is Andy's free guitar chart videos. Welcome to the YouTube subscribers and Facebook friends and group members and general guitar enthusiasts, especially people looking to really get into it with guitar charts. And as you can see, this chart that I've made, I'm slightly zoomed in here, is pretty much the maximum. This is about everything, where I've got about 4 fretboards here, and we're going to talk about them in this lesson and other things. So the chart itself kind of looks like this. I made the it's the chart 150 tri-pentatonic modal cage fretboard with chord forming arpeggio fretboards. Okay, so chord forming arpeggio, let's dock that back to the window. So where do we start with this chart? Alright, now the crux of the lesson is going to be with this diagram here. And we've got 4 fretboards. So let me get a little drawing tool and maybe a color that'll stand out, and we'll make it kind of thick enough so we can see we got 1 fretboard up top here, and those are the labels that follow with that fretboard. And then we've got, so this is the modal fretboard that we're talking about, the String Shape Fretboard. These are the string shapes, these letters here, the blackened letters here, and this just don't worry about it. That's the next shape over. This isn't part of the diagram. We'll talk about this little diagram here, the D shape, which is got this little column. We'll talk about the little column. That's what really catches people's eye. So these labels, top and bottom, pertain to the string shape fretboard. But then again, also we have 3 fretboards. We have the Ionian and the Dorian and the Locrian fretboard. And these labels now that were the bottom part of the string shapes fretboard are now labels on the top of the Ionian Dorian fretboard. And then these labels on the bottom here pertain also to the other cage shapes that are kind of intermixed. So the labels have to be top and bottom, because you can't fit them, all in one, unless you have a fretboard that's about 30 frets long, and then still you'd be ignoring the cage shapes, the shared cage relationships. You can't just spread it all out and go cage to cage as I did before. So I had to look at just this number of frets. It's approximately 3.5 cages long, but we have caged C-A-G-E-D-C. So we're looking at the C also for completeness. And this is an arpeggio fretboard, so we'll see the Ionian and the Dorian arpeggios here, and also the Locrian is put in with this one, because if you add the 7th to the Dorian, you get a Locrian 7th chord. Okay, this is octave, this is the 7th, the Locrian 7th is the 6th of the Ionian. Same top note, that A in the key of C, which is all of the ivories. All of the ivories is the key of C. So everything you play, if you just go that's going up in octave and then going down in sevenths. Some of them are major sevenths, some of them are dominant sevenths. Okay, so that we talked about that yesterday. So let's continue on. We have the 3 fretboards here now. The second fretboard, the third fretboard. Again, the labels on the bottom of this fretboard, they're lined up, so they also then double as the labels to the top of the Ionian Dorian fretboard. The labels on the bottom of the Ionian Dorian fretboard double as the top labels to the Phrygian and Lydian, the 3rd minor and the 4th major fretboard. And then we have the last fretboard, the Aeolian, Mixolydian Aeolian fretboard. That includes that too. And again, the labels double as the same top and bottom, because basically we've got these 3 fretboards lined up. So you can see this one fret with the string shape labels on it straight up and down through the whole thing. So this is all, you know, I could put a giant fret nut here if we wanted to call that the fret nut with my guitar, but it doesn't strictly have to be, but for our purposes it might as well be, because you got to play something. You got to play somewhere. So you have to choose a key. You know, I mean, it's like, look, so that's what it'd be like, putting that, mine is a capo, but yours would be the hard fret nut. But I down-tuned my guitar to C, so I have 2 whole steps here. So when I play an E shape down here, it comes out a C. So my E is actually here. And that's where yours would be too, usually, unless you're down C tuned too. But it is a C instrument, which means whatever I play comes out what it is. So, okay. So, those are the 4 fretboards. We have the string shape fretboard, the Ionian Dorian Locrian fretboard, the Phrygian and the Lydian. So let's say the first one is the string shaped fretboard. It's just the general fretboard. It's almost like looking at a piano. And what I said is, you look at a piano, and if I know where all the keys are, and this is what I wanted to know in guitar, where all the keys are, where all the notes are, where all the scales are. When I found out I had to learn all the scales on piano, that was a very challenging thing, but I was luckily I was young enough, just time went by and I learned them. But you got to start somewhere. So, you know, we talk about the key of C as just being all the white keys. You add one, if you add one accidental, and you know, you could go into the key of G, perhaps, or you could go into the key of F. Each of them add one accidental. So F has the B flat, and G would add the C sharp. And from there you branch on. From B you'd go to E flat with 2 flats. From G you'd go to you go to D with 2 sharps, one at C sharp, one at F sharp, that kind of thing. But for our purposes and for the modal, just look at the ivories, you know. So I played that whole thing just with the same finger shape. And it's about shapes with guitar. But it's also about shape fitting. And I just want to talk about shape fitting for a moment. And I suppose to do that, it's best to look at the 10-string pattern stack. Alright? So, shape fitting is important because what it means is, let's just say we had a guitar here. So we're going to make a C box here, and we're going to have to warp this over because of the tuning change. When you have just a third on the top 2 strings,